former Vice President Mike Pence breaking his silence on the sweeping indictment out of Georgia, accusing his former boss of trying to steal the 2020 election in the state.
Despite what the former president and his allies have said for now more than 2.5 years, and continue to insist to this very hour, the Georgia election was not stolen, and I had no right to overturn the election on January 6th.
But Donald Trump's leading Republican rivals are unsurprisingly singing a different tune, defending the frontrunner and blaming the system.
What we need to do is get a president that obviously can beat Biden, but that could actually end the weaponization of federal power through the DOJ, the FBI.
We see the legal system being weaponized against political opponents. That is un-American and unacceptable.
These are politicized persecutions through prosecution.
Now here to share their reporting, their insights, CNN's Jeff Zeleny, CNN's Kayla Tausche, and Tolu Olorunnipa of The Washington Post. Great to have all of you here. Jeff, weaponization, weaponized, we heard it over and over again from so many of the Republican people seeking the Republican nomination. We also hear it from House Republicans and off the Hill. Is that something that is politically savvy? And does it depend on what you're talking about, if you're talking about a primary voter or a general voter?
Absolutely. I mean, look, with the exception of Mike Pence there and Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson, no one else is really speaking out about this. With the inclusion of Nikki Haley, she says enough of the drama. That's how far she goes. But everyone else, to a person, talks about the weaponization of the DOJ. And that is simply what the Republican base wants to hear. It's what they see on the channels that they watch. But there are some risks in this. I asked a Republican voter late last week in Iowa what he thought of the indictments. And he's a Trump supporter, but he said, look, I asked that question of Governor Ron DeSantis, and he said, it's all made up, basically. So he's like, if Trump's rivals are saying this, there's it's sort of the permission structure to not see Trump in a different way. But we'll see how this goes. I mean, I think that at this point, they're just singing from the same songbook here. But once this becomes a trial, and other things. There are many other Republicans speaking out, like Jeff Duncan and others, Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia saying this election was not stolen. So it's going to get messy for them. But I think they're losing an opportunity here in some respects to make that argument to the part of the Republican base and Republican voters who want to turn the page to give them a reason to do so.
Right. There's a lot of ways to do it and a lot of nuanced ways to do it. Tolu, I want to show everyone, we made a list of different ways that former President Trump actually weaponized the government. Here are some issues here that Trump pressures the Justice Department to investigate crooked Hillary. 2020, where are all of the arrests? 2022, John Kelly says Trump wanted to get the IRS on James Comey. And also in 2022, Cassidy Hutchinson was one of the January 6th witnesses Trump world sought to influence. The irony is thick, and we see this a lot with Trump and his world. It's almost saying, it's like projecting out what maybe they've been doing onto other people.
And the argument from Trump and his allies isn't that the Department of Justice shouldn't be weaponized at this point. It's saying that we should weaponize the Justice Department against liberals. He says, I'm going to be your candidate of retribution, that I'm going to go after the quote unquote Biden crime family and all the Democrats who have been weaponizing government against the conservatives for a long time. So this is a revenge strategy that he's taking, and it seems to be what animates the base of his party. It seems to be why you're hearing this from other Republicans, because I know that a number of voters within the Republican Party are animated by this. They're energized by this idea that we could use government for our ends. We could use it to go after our enemies. And obviously Trump did that during his first term, and he's pledging to do it pretty openly if he wins another term.
It is interesting that there's this undercurrent of using the government, like the underdog. We're the underdog. The government's being used against us. Now we should turn around and weaponize it against our enemies.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why President Biden has been so quiet on the issue. But it's sort of a lose-lose situation for the White House, because on one hand, he's trying to let Republicans speak for themselves, the law speak for itself, the facts of the case speak for themselves. But the oxygen is being taken out of the room, and essentially the president has no message on this. On the other hand, if he does decide to weigh in, then he's going to be seen as putting his thumb on the scale and influencing the outcome of this, and essentially, being seen as having a chip on his shoulder about the 2020 election. If he comes out and says, what Mike Pence has said, what Governor Brian Kemp has said, that the Georgia election was not stolen, then, that's being seen as him revisiting the facts on his own. So the White House is trying to stay out of this. But I think to Lou's point, for the former president, yes, the base is animated by this, but I think independents polling is starting to show they're viewing this as a very serious matter. Their Trump fatigue is getting a little stronger. And, while the base could be animated, while perhaps the Iowa voter is animated, when you have mainstream establishment Republicans like Brian Kemp and Jeff Duncan in Georgia, who are essentially putting this fracture down the middle of the Republican Party, it's going to be impossible for President Trump to win a state like that in 2024. And independents in other swing states, which I know, both of you guys have traveled to, are starting to feel that fatigue too.
Sure. And let's talk about Mike Pence for a second, because he is in a unique position as playing this key role in, of course, the federal indictment, and January 6th was there and at the center of all of this. And we've really seen him kind of arrive at this evolution of his messaging on this, where now he keeps saying essentially a version of Trump wanted me to overturn the Constitution, and anyone that does that and puts themselves before the Constitution doesn't have a right to be president. We had an interesting headline from The Atlantic. The agony of Mike Pence. Why does he think the people who wanted to kill him will vote for him?
Well, I'm not sure he does, but I mean, there's at least half of the Republican Party, perhaps more, that wants to turn the page from Donald Trump. So that, of course, is the group of Republicans that Pence is going after. And even some of them aren't necessarily thrilled with him. But look, what he is doing is sort of speaking truth to power. And I was standing in an audience last week when someone said, why did you commit treason on January 6th? He welcomes those questions. He welcomes the chance to explain this. Now, he didn't really at the time. And you wonder, would all of this have been slightly different if he would have been sort of a leading voice on this? But look, on the debate stage next week in Milwaukee, he, of course, will be talking about this. But he's one of the few who is, calling it like it is now, and most of his rivals aren't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is interesting to kind of see where he is on all of that, and where he has evolved on that, because it almost seemed like he was hesitant to really go there until this indictment.